So you have roughly got 20 or 25 days left for your NEET UG examination. I remember the same feeling when I was giving my examination. In this video, I'll be telling you a few tips that you should be applying within this next 3 weeks that can actually impact your scores, that could actually impact your rank and overall how your examination goes. I'm not going to give you any strategy on how to do this subject, how to do that subject. This is just a video talking about mindset and secondly, aligned effort. Both of these things can change your perspective towards the examination. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Dr. Anuj Pachhel. I'm an MBBS intern working at Government Medical College Nagpur. My internship just ended and I'm currently waiting for my convocation. So the first thing I basically want to talk about is this attitude which I like to call no plan B. A lot of you people are already thinking that maybe we'll give the best attempt next time. Maybe this year was very difficult for me, so I could not study well. I'll give the next attempt and in that attempt I'll do best. Some of you are thinking next to next mein apan अच्छे से करेंगे. What this mindset does to you that is this mindset actually makes you weak right then and there. If you keep on thinking that there is a backup plan for you, if you keep on thinking there is a safety net for you, you will never truly give the best. If you always have a feeling of a safety net, you will never ever give your best. And that is where the mindset of no plan B comes into play. I've already made a video about this, but I feel like a revision of this is also needed. So stop thinking in terms of a safety net. Start thinking in terms ki, okay, I have prepared well. Say the sentence to yourself, I have prepared well. Whatever lectures or whatever books you have learned, they will come back to me. Whatever questions you have solved, they'll help me in the final examination. When you say these positive affirmations to yourself, you're already making your mind very, very strong. If you are victorious inside your mind, you will definitely be victorious during the day of the examination. मन से जीतो पहले, बाद में तुम काम करके जीतो. मन से अगर तुम हार गए हो, तो तुम आगे कुछ नहीं कर पाओगे. तो पहला स्टेप है मन से जीतना, वही तुमको करना है, मन से मत हारो. Now let's little bit talk about the effort. Your effort should be aligned towards your goal, and aligned means that whatever effort you're putting on a day-to-day basis should actually get you the results that you want. So the first thing that you can do over here is set a circadian rhythm which is complementary to what is going to be on the day of the examination. From what I know, the NEET examination will be conducted from 2 PM to 5:20 PM on the 6th of May, right? So you're doing on a day-to-day basis should be exactly a mirror of what you're going to be doing on that particular day. For example, from 2 to 5:20, if you are going to be given an exam, then you should be given an exam on the same time every day so that your body gets into the habit of giving exams from that particular time. Otherwise, if you're solving your papers in the morning, then in the afternoon you're sleeping, you'll feel sleepy on the day of the afternoon of your examination. Maybe you might sleep in the examination, all who knows. So the important point to know over here is that set up your circadian rhythm according to the day of the examination. That is, wake up in the morning, study a bit, revise whatever you can, give a paper after the lunch. That is, after 2 you start giving your paper and before 5 you complete that paper. After that, review your paper, solve your mistakes, write your mistake books, update the PYQ book and finally sleep. So make your circadian rhythm system follow the mirror of the exam day. You got that? That was aligned effort. Coming back to mindset. A lot of people always look around their surroundings and just are very curious to know what are my peers studying? What is this book my friend is studying? What is this notes my friend is reading? If I read these notes, will I get more marks? If I join this coaching class, will I get more marks? So it does not matter in the last 3 weeks ki what your peers are doing at all. It does not matter. What matters is what you are doing. So do not fall into this trap ki what my peers are doing, I'll also do that. If something is working for your peers does not mean that it will also work for you. What you should be focusing on is your own personal growth, your own personal development and follow whatever you have been following since the first. That means if you have been solving one particular book, stick to that book. If you have been reading NCERT, stick to NCERT. If you are reading modules, stick to module and start doing a little bit of NCERT because that is a little bit essential for your NEET exam. So don't fall into this trap of what are my peers studying, mere dost kya kar raha hai, main kya kar raha hu. Whatever you are supposed to do, let everybody do whatever they are doing. Don't fall into this trap. Next I want to talk about is this very famous concept called as doing 100% of few things versus doing 80 or 90% of a lot of things. So what do you think is better? Doing 100% of just few topics or doing a lot of topics but you are okay in them, not the best? So obviously the logic is that the more number of topics you are able to brush, the more number of topics you are able to touch and the more number of topics you are able to cover is more likely that the questions can be picked up from there. If you are doing only limited number of topics, then it is likely कि questions वहाँ से नहीं भी आ सकते. There are some chapters which I know that you have not done properly. There are some chapters which I know that you have not done at all. So focus on these chapters because you need to cover them at least a little bit before the exam comes. I'm not saying that just do them 100%, solve all the question banks, read them line by line, make notes and just keep them all in your brain. That's simply not possible at this point in time. What you should be doing is not leaving them to 0%. Kuch to bhi padh ke jao. It's going to be difficult during the last 3 weeks, but don't leave any stone unturned. Don't leave any chapter unread. At least give it a read once. Thode bahut important points, thode bahut PYQs you can take out from that chapter. What are the times we tend to pay very less attention towards inorganic chemistry, but that that also serves as a very important point for our NEET UG examination. If you're having difficulty trying to find out which chapters are actually important for you, I've got an amazing book for you. Oswal's 36 years PYQ wali book hai. It's for physics, chemistry and biology. In chemistry, for example, you can just look at the trend analysis which they've given, and using this trend analysis you can see how many questions have appeared from which chapter in which year, and then you can decide out of all the chapters that you've left, which one you have to do the first. Do the one which is more important. Next, whatever chapter you're doing, if you're doing it little bit less, make sure to solve the previous year questions of that chapter. And guess what? The PYQ textbook gives you a categorized chapter-wise PYQs of the last 36 years. So you can just flip through that chapter, maybe P block, and go through all the PYQs in one place. You can keep revisiting those PYQs whenever possible. In fact, in the last 20 days, you should have gone through the PYQs at least once. एक बार तो भी तुम्हारे main PYQs of the last 10 years you should be knowing. Because mostly the questions are going to be formulated from the areas, from the topics of these PYQs. And Oswal Books has also got great explanations which cover the PYT along with the PYQ. Try it out. I've got a link in the description. You can go buy the 36-year PYQ if you haven't already bought it by now. And for years, Oswal has produced trusted books with accurate information. Link in the description. Go check it out. Next, what I want to talk about is the last 2 days. So whatever preparation that you have done for the last 1 year or for the last 2 years, it boils down to the last 2 days. You have made your notes so that you could study in those last 2 days. You have made a PYQ copy, you have made a mistake book just so that you can study it in the last 2 days. In the last 2 days, you have to utilize a lot of your short-term memory, and if you utilize and put all the volatile information that you have in your short-term memory. So in the last 2 days, focus on the volatile subjects, volatile facts, volatile numbers, figures, scientist name, the years, all of these things which are bound to be asked as well as they are important. Focus on these things and you will make sure that factual questions won't be wrong. If you have not made a PYQ book or a mistake book, start on it right now. Start solving the PYQs. Whatever mistakes you are making, note it down in a mistake book in the last 1 or 2 days. Read that PYQ book 3 or 4 times. You are making sure that all the hard previous year questions which you are getting wrong right now, you won't be getting wrong during the examination time, which is most important. So prepare the last few days material, whatever you need right now. So last 2-3 weeks है इसमें अच्छे से prepare कर लो whatever you want, so that the last 2 days will be very easy. I'll give you an example of what I am doing for NEET PG. I've got a few notebooks like this one, and I write down all the factual information over here, so that whenever I have the time, I just flip through the pages of these notebooks so that I could revise the 19 subjects of NEET PG of all the volatile subjects using just one single textbook. So that is what you can do as well. You can make a factual textbook if you have got the time. Minimum what you should be making is a PYQ ka mistake book. At least PYQ ka mistake book, not even a mistake book in general. The time for making a proper mistake book has left. So try making a mistake book for PYQs, try making a factual textbook and revise it many times during the last 2 days. If you have, write down in the comments, we have understood. Avoid anything that is going to affect you mentally. Okay, if you feel like social media is going to affect you mentally, that is if you're going to be scrolling reels for hours and hours, then you're going to be feeling bad and then your day is wasted, delete social media. It is not the right time to be on social media, especially on Instagram where time can be endlessly consumed. On YouTube at least you're finding good channels that actually help you. For example, the educational channels जिसके तुम lectures देखते होगे. For example, my channel where you get motivation / guidance / strategy. But all the other stuff try to avoid. Especially Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, ये सब, it's quite addictive. Not just that, try to avoid arguments with people that you don't actually like. Maybe you don't like that shopkeeper, तो उसके पास मत जाओ. Maybe you are having problems with your friends, stop talking to those friends, because in the last 3 weeks you cannot afford to have a mental breakdown. You cannot afford to have a mental blockade that will waste your days just like that. The same thing applies for your body as well. Try to avoid the things which are going to be affecting your health. For example, it's summer season. We are seeing a lot of patients of heat exhaustion, heat stroke in our OPDs. That means people are coming up with very high temperatures, people are completely dehydrated, and that affects their health quite a lot. A lot of the diarrheal diseases are also on the rise. Make sure that you're avoiding outside food. Make sure that you are having proper hydration all throughout the day. In fact, let me drink some water right now. And make sure whatever minor ailments that you're having, for example, a sore throat, for example, stuffed nose, you're getting that all treated, because you cannot let that go and further complicate whatever studies you are doing. Lastly, speaking about the effort, I want to talk to you about active versus passive. A lot of mistakes the students in the last time make is that they just keep on reading their notes. Reading, only reading. There is no question solving. Okay, so avoid that mistake. Solve as many questions as you can of the previous year questions only. Now is not the time to try very new extravagant questions. The previous year questions are your go-to right now. Next, let's say you're done with solving the PYQs. What you should be doing is trying out active recall. Just cover your notes with a piece of paper and try to recall what was written. Try to recall the names, the examples, the equations which you have written in your notes. Reading करने से उतना अच्छा retention नहीं होता है जितना recall करने से होता है. This is the basic concept. Speaking out, explaining things to yourself on the whiteboard, blinding the notes, and then revising, all of these are beautiful examples of active recall. So with that being said, I think you are very well prepared. In this video, I've just simply talked about the mindset shift and the alignment of the efforts. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to subscribe the channel. I promise to not even waste a single second of your life if you have ever clicked on my videos. And lastly, hit the like button on the way out. By the way, when I say hit the like button, it actually glows. It's Dr. Anuj Pachhel, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.